Like many out there, when it first dropped, I immediately became a fan of Stranger Things, and I just got done this weekend watching Stranger Things Season 3 and playing the Stranger Things 3 video game. But is this game an incredible trip to Hawkins, Indiana, or would it be better to just let the mind flare infect you than play this one? Stranger Things 3 the game is of course based on Season 3 of Stranger Things, and it's a 16-bit isometric view action title where you're taking the role of the characters from Stranger Things. Each character brings a unique weapon attack as well as a unique special move to the table. Certain other characters will also have special abilities that you'll need in order to progress the plot, such as Erica being able to climb through vents or Dustin being able to solve various key panels. I felt they did a pretty good job representing all the characters, each one with their different attacks. Makes it fun to try each one out, and of course you'll find the ones that you prefer playing as, and there are of course some characters that end up having better attacks than others. Some are more short range, like Mike using a bat to swing, or Hopper just straight up punching people. Other characters prefer the long-ranged approach, whether it's Lucas with his slingshot, Elle's telekinetic powers, which can hit multiple targets, and pretty much became my favorite move to use throughout most of the game, until I ended up getting Steve, who throws ice cream that not only does a lot of damage, but it also freezes enemies, slowing them down. I do wish that the action itself, though, was a bit more refined. A lot of times it's pretty much just mashing the attack button repeatedly in order to get through areas. You do have a block button that can be effective at times. You can walk away from certain enemy attacks, but it felt like a lot of battles, especially later in the game, just mashing that attack button over and over again started to become a bit repetitive, even though I was loving the experience of everything else. The controls were okay, moving your character and all, and attacking is perfectly fine. All the other commands you have scattered amongst your different face buttons, the D-pad, and then using the trigger buttons to do things such as replenishing your health or energy, or switching between the different characters. The button commands are on screen to always kind of let you know what you need to do. Since you have two characters at all times, a lot of the time you'll have to tell one character to kind of stay at a certain point and then control the other one. You can easily swap between characters at any point, whichever character you want to play as. Characters are automatically used in certain situations, like when you make it to a locked chain door, you'll automatically become Joyce to unlock it. Your characters share one health bar, technically. Whichever character you're controlling, that's the health that matters, and it stays that same health even when you switch between the characters. The AI has its own health, but if it dies, it will just automatically respawn, whereas if you run out of health, it is game over, but thankfully there's plenty of autosave, so you usually don't lose too much progress. While I do wish that combat was more refined, there was thankfully enough enemy types where I wasn't getting bored with them. They did provide some more challenges, and if you play on higher difficulties, it can be a bit challenging to get through those later areas for sure. There's also some pretty intense and enjoyable boss battles throughout the course of the game, some a bit more challenging than others, and while I was watching the show, I was wondering if certain moments would lead to a boss encounter in the game, and that's exactly what ended up happening. So having those correlations between the show and the game, I think they did a great job of trying to do an adaptation in video game form of the season. Along with the main story, there are side quests to complete as well. A bunch of them are fetch quests. There's some like little extra dungeons or areas that you don't even have to complete during the main game, but will net you some extra rewards. There's collectible gnomes to keep an eye out for, 50 well-hidden gnomes throughout all of Hawkins, and you get rewarded for every 10 gnomes that you end up collecting. Completing the game on normal difficulty took me about 7.5 hours. I did do all the side quests and collected most of the gnomes. I have a few more that I need to go back and grab before then jumping into New Game Plus. There's also the Eliminator that unlocks once you beat the game once. Presentation-wise, I loved it. I love all of the different sprite work for the different characters, and each moment I wanted to see how it would play out after watching the show, how those moments translated into the game, and I thought they did a great job with most of them. I also love the music. I'm a big fan of the synthwave soundtrack that goes along with the show, and they've included that here. Thankfully, from the technical side of things, there was no crashing or other major glitching. Stranger Things 3, the game, is available for $19.99 on the PlayStation 4. It does feature a Platinum Trophy. The game is also available on Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Overall, just like with the season, I really enjoyed Stranger Things 3 the game. If you're a fan of the show, you're gonna like it a lot more, so I may be a bit biased with my score at the end since I am such a fan of the show. However, even as just a standalone retro experience, it's pretty darn enjoyable. With everything said, I'm gonna be giving Stranger Things 3 the game an 8 out of 10. That's gonna wrap up this review though. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.